Welcome to Sunday Club in the Stable. I'm Paul and this is Hannah.
Hi friends, missing you. Hope you're staying safe.
Hi friends!
Right, let's get down to business. Last week we met Hannah from the Bible, who just so happened to be mum to a chap called Samuel. So we meet Samuel pretty soon on in his life, and in today's story he's basically a baby, like toddler type human. Now remember, Hannah had wanted a kid for quite a bit of time, and now she's got little Sammy. This is what happened. Who loves a good present?
I do.
Sorry, I didn't quite hear you.
I do.
Well, in our story today, it's kind of all about a whole bunch of presents. More presents than what actually needed. Is that possible? It's like Christmas, Easter and birthday all rolled into one. Let's see what happens, but before we do, I want to ask you a question. What's the best present you've ever had and who was it from? I've been given some really amazing presents, so it's really difficult to choose, isn't it, sometimes, but today I'm going to choose Paul because, without Paul we wouldn't have Sunday Club in the Stable.
Oh, that's me.
He was a wedding present. It's a long story. Okay, back to Bible Hannah. She'd had a baby. She called him Samuel, which means God hears me. And she helps him grow up by making sure he can eat properly, can walk, and he's starting to be able to talk. And at about 3 years old, yes, 3 years old, she takes him to the temple.
It's like a church.
Do you remember the promise she made to God about Samuel?
I do. She promised that if she had a child, she would give him back to God.
So, we have a present. To God's love from Hannah and Elkanah. Hannah and Elkanah are going to fulfill their promise to God and give them little Samuel. Now, we didn't have a toddler in our house, so we had teddies. So you have to use your imagination. So Hannah and Elkanah are going to give Samuel to God and leave him at the temple.
She's going to leave Samuel at church. Churches can be quite cold. I'm not sure I'd want to live there.
These church-like places were a little different from what we know, as people did live there. The priests.
They're like our vicars and pastors.
Thank you, Paul. The priests lived at the temple. It would look a bit like all of our church staff living in church today. Okay, my next question. What's the funniest present you've had and who was it from? Mine was this monkey, and it makes me giggle every time I come in the front door. And it reminds me of the little monkeys who bought it for me. It was given to me by my godchildren and their mum and dad. Present number 2, 3 and 4. To God from Hannah and Elkanah. You see, when these guys went to the temple to worship God, they were so filled with thankfulness for God that they wanted to give him so much more than what was required. Now, they were meant to take with them present number 1. They were meant to take with them an animal. It had to be the same age as Samuel. So they took a 3-year-old bull. But they took so much more than a 3-year-old bull. They also took very strange gifts, but they had lots of meaning. They also took about 11 bags of flour.
We don't have that many bags of flour.
No, 11 bags is quite a lot, Paul. And at the time of filming this video, there isn't actually much flour around in our country. So 11 bags, gosh, that's a lot. It didn't stop there. They also took now, this is empty, but use your imagination. They took 4 filled with grape juice. 4 of these, about the same measure, filled with grape juice. Sam's parents were so thankful for God and his goodness that they wanted to show it. They were thankful before they had Samuel too. It wasn't just because they'd had Samuel. Have a little look at 1 Samuel chapter 1 verses 1 to 5. Okay, next question. What's the best present you've ever given and who was it to? I'm going to say Bunny. He was given to one of my nephews, who's called Samuel, interestingly. Actually, I have 2 nephews called Samuel. Greedy, right? Well, we gave it to little Samuel because we wanted to congratulate him on being born. So, in fact, one of the best presents that Hannah and Elkanah gave to God was being with God and wanting to be with him. You can see that in all we hear about them. They wanted to worship God and they wanted to be with him. Perhaps a question for us to think about today is, how are we spending time with God? Sometimes it's really, really difficult to do. We might get distracted by things or think because we can't see God as a person sat next to us, it doesn't really matter. But God loves to spend time with us. And in fact, we have a lot to be grateful to God for, especially for sending us Jesus. You can make a decision to spend time with God in a special place in your house that you could make, maybe like a den.
Or when you bounce on your trampoline.
Or when you go to play with a certain toy, you could spend time with God.
Or when you go for a walk.
Or when you're doing your favourite hobby. Or even doing some of those little jobs around the house. Have a little think. How can I spend time with God today? Thanks for joining Paul and I for Sunday Club in a Stable. This is the end of the video, but there's more where this came from. So check out our channel, and if you've liked what you've seen, give us a little thumbs up on the bar below. And why not subscribe to us so you get notified the next time we post a video. But for now, it's bye and a virtual high five.